just again, as I started out the last one, I had to have my gallbladder out when my daughter was 2 weeks old. The After I had her, I nursed her for 2 years, and during this time, the first 4 months, I gained 100 pounds. I kid you not, 100 pounds in 4 months. I was gaining 15 pounds a week, and the reason why I know that is because I was in my weight loss group and I was weighing every single week, and I was just devastated. I was gaining weight, eating little things to big things. It did not matter what I ate. It did not matter what I did. I thought I was going to get so big I was going to explode. And I was crying, calling the doctors, please tell me, what can I do? What have I done? What happened? What's going on? And they did test after test from my thyroid to blood work, everything, and everything was normal. How does that possible for it to be normal? But anyways, they just kept saying it's what you're eating. You got to be eating something bad. A friend of mine was a nutritionist, and she came in and looked at what I was eating, and she couldn't find nothing. And there was some times that I just said, forget it, gave up, and started picking out, eating stuff. And I realized that some of those weeks I wouldn't gain at all. And I was just like, I wasn't losing, but it would be, like a 1 or 2 pound gain, and that was it. And it just didn't make no sense. And I was completely just could not understand why. And I dissolved the weight loss group. I could no longer continue to go every week and talk to people about losing weight when I myself was gaining in front of their eyes. What kind of role model, or how do you listen to somebody that weighs so much and say, oh, you can lose weight? So anyways, I said, okay, I'm going to I tried my best. I'm going to go have weight loss surgery. That was when the lap band first came out. I was the 7th patient of my doctor to have it done. And he was in Wisconsin. We traveled from Michigan to Wisconsin through, I think it was like a 7-hour drive. I had the surgery. 11 months later, I lost 30 pounds. They kept saying, oh, you need fills, you need to get this done. Everything's fine, it's working fine, you just need to have, this adjusted. So anyways, before I tell anybody this, I need to let you know that I'm trying to get my husband to have this weight loss surgery. I highly recommend this lap band surgery to anybody. I personally feel, my own personal opinion, the gastric bypass is so much more invasive. If anything goes wrong, there's hardly anything that they can do. You can't reverse it. It's not something that can be easily taken care of. So I say this because I want I want everybody to know. Anyways, I was doing some exercising, and the band slipped up and damaged my esophagus. And the doctor said that it was like this is my esophagus, and this is the lap band, and it was like a ring, just sitting there like that, like a ring around a pool, he said. And anyways, it damaged the esophagus, and they had to remove it, and it felt like I was swallowing fireballs when it slipped up. It was so painful. Um, it has been 5 years now, and if I hiccup, if I like feel like I'm gonna get nauseous or have the dry heaves or whatever, if I eat something spicy, the pain in the back, between my shoulder blades, is almost like having a gallbladder attack. I don't know if anybody's, I'm sure people's had them, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'd have to experience to know, because it's kind of like giving birth. If you've never given birth, it's hard to explain to somebody. Um, so, anyways, it was a very hard time for me, because I'm like, well, I'm losing, I lost 30 pounds. At least I'm not gaining. Can we put a new one in? No, your esophagus is damaged. So I was in immense pain with that, and we called a doctor in Mexico to find out. He can put these in and out in 15, 20 minutes, and he's done. And that was back then, so I'm sure he's improved now. But anyways, he said that it would take a long time to heal. And like I said, anything I ate, if it was broth, water, to food, it was horrible. So, anyways, I started healing from that, and about 6 months later, I got pregnant, and we lost the baby within the first month. And then the second, I think 7 months later, I got pregnant again and lost the baby within the first month. Now, I say this story going by quickly because I don't want to be hung up on any of the details. I had to have a DNC and things like that, so I had to have more surgery. And then the last one, the second one I told you about, I had to have what's called it was supposed to be a DNC. However, they did an ultrasound and they found something that was next to the ovaries. And they said it looks like a third ovary. And I'm like, well, that's my luck. That could explain everything. And so they went in, and my doctor cut me from my belly button down to my pelvis. Now, if anybody is overweight and they have a hangover over, that is a lot of weight there. And when I woke up, I was in excruciating pain, and I knew something wasn't right. They were not supposed to cut me. They were supposed to do a laparoscopic surgery like they did with the band. However, she said that she tried and it didn't work, although that I don't think she tried, because there was no evidence that she tried. But anyways, what ended up being a third ovary was, she said that her opinion was, she felt that I was pregnant with twins, and somehow part of it came out and it sat on top of the uterus, and that's what they were seeing. They called it an ectopic pregnancy, but it had nothing to do with my ovaries. I guess that's just what they could call it, because they didn't know really what to say. But anyways, it was on top of the uterus, on the outside of the uterus. And basically it could have just reabsorbed. But anyways, after that surgery, that was very hard on me, mentally as well as physically. I had gotten sick with bronchitis, and they had given me some